Hello, welcome. Thank you for joining us on this edition of NEWS2. Happy Monday. I'm Sandra Gumansing, and our top story, residents on St. Thomas and St. John whipped out flashlights and lamps, and some others turned on their generators on Sunday night during a massive blackout that lasted for at least 7 hours. Some residents didn't get their power back until 10 hours later. The Virgin Islands Water and Power Authority said a power surge knocked down critical generating units, causing that outage. NEWS2's April Knight has details.
On Sunday night, all of St. Thomas and St. John was plunged into darkness in what was the longest power blackout in a while. According to WAPA, a power surge knocked down generating Unit 23 at the Harley Power Plant on St. Thomas.
The surge also tripped two other units that were online at the time, Unit 25 and Unit number 15. As a result, a cascading effect took place, a domino effect took place, causing all feeders to fall offline and the island district to be plunged in darkness.
WAPA spokesperson John Griou said they're still trying to figure out the cause of the surge. But WAPA crews, he said, got to work on the problem as soon as it was reported.
We're going to continue to investigate the source of the surge. We're going to look at some technical data to make a determination where the surge actually occurred. It had to be made whether there were any damage was reported to any of the units. That process took several hours. We were able to stabilize the units, get them back online this morning.
Many Virgin Islanders took the power outage in stride, but there were some serious criticisms of WAPA's timeline of restoration. WAPA officials said restoration began around 2 in the morning, but some residents said they didn't get power until a few hours later.
It took us a little bit over an hour to restore all feeders to service. It's a gradual process. You've got to, you want to bring the priority feeders online first. The hospital, the emergency response agency headquarters like TEMA and others that are high priority. You want to bring those online first, but it's a balancing act.
Reporting for NEWS2, I'm April Knight.
WAPA's interim chief executive officer, Julio Reimer, apologizes for the inconvenience, but also thanked his staff and line crews for working tirelessly on the issue. The Alexander Henderson School reopened and regular classes were held today following a temporary closure from April 1st to 10th. School buses were on schedule. The intended roof repairs were completed and interior cleaning was worked on over the weekend. Old lockers have been removed from the building and the area has been retiled and repainted. An announcement of the school's closure was made at a press conference on March 31st by Dr. Commissioner Sharon Ann McCollum, who said that move was necessary. Well, the Office of Collective Bargaining wants to make sure the territory's teachers understand that their impending pay increases will not be affected by another issue, the payment of retroactive wages, as we mentioned on Friday. According to Collective Bargaining Chief Natalie Tang Ho, however, the government does not have enough money to implement step increases and pay retroactive wages simultaneously. According to Tang Ho, the administration does not want teachers to get inaccurate information. Negotiations are ongoing, she said, and the government wants to make sure that all the promised raises and commitments are sustainable. The Division of Personnel will process the updated notices of personnel action once the governor receives and signs the bill authorizing the increases. If the pay increases are implemented, it would be the first time in 7 years for the territory's teachers, according to the administration. Well, the VI Republican delegate dispute continues. Two top-ranking officials of the VI GOP released separate announcements containing two different sets of delegates to the Republican National Convention. We've spoken to Chairman John Canegata on why he disqualified the original slate. Now, here's Republican committeeman Holland Redfield on why he thinks the original elected delegates should represent the VI. NEWS2's April Knight has more.
Holland Redfield, Republican superdelegate, is going head-to-head with VI GOP Chairman John Canegata. Redfield recently released a statement saying that the elected VI GOP delegates to the National Convention in Cleveland have selected their leadership with Redfield at the helm. On that list is the entire March 10th elected slate, the very same one disqualified by Canegata a few weeks ago.
That is an unprecedented move on the part of the state chairman to do that. He didn't have the authority to do that, And you would think that you would wait for the courts to make a decision to guide the judgment.
All of this began when newcomers John Yob, his wife Erica, and their friend Lindsay Alon won top spots during the March 10th caucus on St. Croix. Redfield gave his take on accusations that the group came down and ran uncommitted in order to sell their votes at the convention.
I don't know how you sell your votes in the upcoming election. The major group that won on the first go-around, which are the ones that are duly representing the Virgin Islands by laws and rules, are going up uncommitted, which gives us a tremendous amount of leverage.
According to Redfield, it's the very fact that most of the delegates in the original slate are uncommitted that's putting the Virgin Islands in a unique position of advantage.
We plan on using that leverage to get as much out of these candidates as a commitment to solve some of our unique problems.
But only one set of delegates can go to the national convention, and right now, both sets think it's going to be them. Redfield says if they can't resolve this here at home, the dispute will have to go national.
When you have two immovable objects, somebody has to step in.
Reporting for News 2, I'm April Knight.
Call on 2 to keep you updated. Turn our attention to crime reports on Saturday, April 9th. Police say at approximately 6:04 p.m., officers were dispatched by the 911 emergency call center in regards to a possible shooting victim in a vehicle in the vicinity of the Anna's Retreat basketball court. Officers observed a black male who was later identified as 19-year-old Joseph Ducre of Dominica in a green SUV with multiple gunshot wounds above the body. This case is presently under investigation by the Criminal Investigation Bureau. Anyone that has information about this crime may contact the Virgin Islands Police Department at 774-2211, the Criminal Investigation Bureau at 714-9805, or any of the numbers listed there on the screen, as well as Crime Stoppers USVI at 1-800-222-TIPS. Sierra Wimberly, 25, and Noel Bishopel, 27, both from Atlanta, Georgia, made their initial appearances on April 7th before U.S. Magistrate Judge Ruth Miller. On April 6th at the Cyril Lee King Airport, according to the court documents, a CBP K-9 detected narcotics in check bags belonging to Wimberly and Bishopel, who had arrived on a Delta Airlines flight from Atlanta. When they deplaned the aircraft, they were taken to secondary inspection where their checked bags were examined. Customs and Border Protection officers seized and field tested approximately 4.9 kilograms of marijuana from Wimberly's bag and approximately 10.25 kilograms of marijuana from Bishopel's bag. They each face a maximum of 5 years in prison and $250,000 fine. April is National Child Abuse Prevention Month, and many turned out for that Child Abuse Prevention March held on St. Thomas last Saturday, presented by the Family Resource Center. It began at the Holy Family Church, and the march ended up at the Tutu Park Mall. Advocates say 1 in 7 children is abused in the U.S. They say the rates in the VI mirror those in the U.S. This annual march, they say, is just one way to bring about awareness. Turn our attention overseas. The White House and representatives from the National Institutes of Health and the Centers for Disease Control held a press briefing Monday to address on the Zika virus, saying the disease is more serious than they originally thought. Diane Gallagher has the latest from Washington, D.C.
Everything we look at with this virus seems to be a bit scarier than we initially thought.
The United States medical community issuing a severe warning. The Zika virus needs to be taken seriously. Last week, the White House redirected $589 million, most of that originally designated for Ebola, to combat the Zika virus. But according to the National Institutes of Health, more money is needed.
We really don't have what we need. When the president asked for $1.9 billion, we needed $1.9 billion.
Potential vaccines are in the works with hopes to start testing later this year. But meantime, the Zika virus is spreading and is directly linked to birth defects like microcephaly and Guillain-Barré syndrome, among others. The Centers for Disease Control now focusing on the explosive number of cases expected in Puerto Rico.
We think there could be hundreds of thousands of cases of Zika virus in Puerto Rico and perhaps hundreds of affected babies.
Thousands of Zika prevention kits, which include bug spray, information, and condoms, have already been passed out around U.S. island territories. And while they don't believe the continental United States faces the same risk of an epidemic, The mosquito that carries Zika is more common than they first thought.
So instead of about 12 states where the mosquito Aedes aegypti is present, we believe about 30 states have the mosquito present.
Already more than 60 confirmed cases of Zika in pregnant women just in the continental United States, which is why the CDC is urging pregnant women not to travel to Zika hotspots, including the upcoming Olympic Games in Brazil, which is considered the outbreak's epicenter. In Washington, Diane Gallagher.
And keeping our eye on the economy, let's take a look at the stock market watch at the New York Stock Exchange. Taking a look at the numbers there, we can see everything down. The Dow 20, NASDAQ 17, S&P 500 down at 5. Coming up on News 2, if you missed it, a little taste of the jazz in the park. Plus, our Carnival Corner. Layla Evelyn is our new Carnival princess. Highlights from the Princess Selection Show and a schedule of what's to come. Welcome back. Welcome to our Carnival Corner. As they say, rain don't stop the carnival. On Sunday, the princess contestants proved the power outage could not stop their show-stopping performance during the Carnival Princess Selection Show held at the Lionel Roberts Stadium. The young contestants dazzled the audience with their talent, evening wear, and more. However, 9-year-old Layla Evelyn shined bright like a diamond, enough to capture the 2016 crown. These young contestants proved that nothing is more fabulous than Carnival in St. Thomas. Incorporating the 2016 Carnival theme, they competed in categories including madras wear, evening wear, and the highly anticipated talent segment.
That Jaman received after changing its name from Eddie and the Movement. Danny Friday created a versatile song that had everyone chipping, especially the major red.
Okay, here goes.
In 1989, when hurricane people devastated our islands, but not our spirits, Danny Friday came on the scene with a tune that rocked the land. Ladies and gentlemen, sing along if you go made you a dance. The island-wide power outage did cause some delays. However, many remained in good spirits as other technical issues were addressed. Generators were set up after to power the stage and sound. The stadium lights never came back on, but the contestants were given extra time due to the outage, and the show was back on track. The winner's name was announced close to midnight. In the end, Layla Evelyn emerged as the winner.
Now, Layla also took honors in the categories of Best Madras Wear, Miss Intellect, Miss Cooperative, and Best Talent. Miss Congeniality and Miss Photogenic went to Denasia Todman, and Best Evening Wear went to Sainia Jackson, who is also the second runner-up. First runner-up, Paris Shin. Big congratulations to the young ladies. Job well done. Now, next weekend, it's the Queen Selection Show, And the young ones will hit the red carpet for the Toddlers Derby, and that's on Sunday, April 17th at 5 p.m. That event also includes the Best Dressed Doll competition and the traditional games at the Lionel Roberts Stadium. On Monday, April 18th, it's the Roy Lester Schneider Hospital's lobby. That area will be transformed for the annual pre-carnival celebration at 6 p.m. The Fort Christian parking lot is officially closed for Carnival as of 6 p.m. on Sunday, April 11th. Therefore, parking may be a little tight in the next few weeks. As in years past, parking is allowed on the waterfront apron. The parking lot is scheduled to reopen for the public's parking on Monday, May 9th at 7 a.m. St. Croix Food and Wine Experience took to the links on Sunday with the Cuisine on the Green at the Carambola Golf Course. The popular event combines a fun round of golf on the 18-hole course with delightful food and drink at various holes. Nearly a dozen eateries provided the tasty treats, which included butter poached lobster with coconut cream, butter sauce, beef, chicken, and veggie tacos, crostinis, rice cakes with brisket. To drink, there was local cucumbers infused with vodka, served in cups made from cucumbers. The event was a definite hole-in-one. Now, Tuesday, coming up, there's a gourmet dinner at Haypenny Beach, then the big event, which is the Taste of St. Croix, where more than 50 St. Croix restaurants, catering firms, and chefs will entice you at the DV Carina Bay Resort. On Friday, April 8th, International Capital and Management Company presented Jazz in the Park in St. Thomas's historic Roosevelt Park. That event featured a host of engaging activities along with Vendors Row, which offered art, food, and other locally made products for sale. Hundreds crowded around the stage to welcome home the featured trombonist, producer, educator, activist, and Virgin Islands raised Reginald St. J. and the Reginald St. J. Group. Now, St. J. was born in Dominica, but raised on St. Thomas. He's won the Washington City Paper's Best Trombonist Award in 2011, 2013, and 2014. The evening's musical delights began with the BCB's Torchfire Jazz Band, Concert Choir, and Flambeau Combo. Here's more. Very talented musician there. Juan F. Louis is hosting a community health fair in observance of Sexually Transmitted Disease Awareness Month. That fair will be held on April 12th, Tuesday, from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. at the Virgin Islands Cardiac Center. Juan F. Louis Education Institute, in collaboration with Frederickstead Healthcare, the Charles Harwood STD Program, and Jason Henry, who is the Northeast Caribbean AIDS Education Training Coordinator. They're hosting this health fair for the general public. There will be free health screenings for blood pressure, blood glucose, cholesterol, and HIV. There will also be STD counselors on hand. Local vendors will also be on site to promote healthy nutrition options. There were so many special smiles from very special inspirational athletes. The Special Olympics was held on Saturday at St. Croix Renaissance Field. The traditional March of the Athletes around the track by the St. Croix Central High School ROTC Color Guard, they kicked off the event. The athletes participated in some new events like soccer and basketball, and some regular events like running and long jumps. In the end, just about all of the athletes received medals. Many volunteers were on hand, and even Governor Mapp showed up for some support. He handed out the medals and congratulated the athletes. Every few years, many of them receive the opportunity to represent the VI at the World Games. Congrats to our young athletes there. Be sure to stick around. Your News to AccuWeather forecast is coming up next.